opponent's playing that, they certainly have a lot of gas in their deck to fuel the Halazeal. It's kind of like the centerpiece of, in terms of the healing, where that deck comes from. And so not killing it, I mean, Terrence might have even won that game if he killed the Halazeal. I mean, look how much damage he ended up picking up. If he kills the Halazeal first, he might actually just be able to burn through a healing wave. Yeah, that's a legitimate possibility.
I'd say pretty easily. Because, I mean, look how much Halazeal healed. He healed, 10 from the Storm Cracks, 12 from the Lava Shock, or 13 from Lava Shock, 17 from Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
So, about 45 from Elemental Destruction.
He healed enough,
give or take. So, I mean,
he healed for 24 more from that because he went from 6 to 30.
Well, he would have even had overheal too. So even if you just say that, he would have had to do about 45 less damage that game to win if he had killed the Halazeal, which is a significant amount of damage. And who knows if he would have won, because Healing Wave is still a powerful card. Chilma would have lived, which was more damage on the board immediately, so he would have been under more pressure. But it's really tough. So Just Saying picks up a win with that Shaman. I mean, you can't really blame Terrence for being unprepared for that type of deck and that card specifically, but you got to realize its potential when looking at the deck, and I don't know, it's just tough. And now he's going to throw out Temple Warrior, and it's going to be up against the Freeze Mage. He does have Rag in his opening hand, which is one of the keys to victory if you're playing any deck with Rag in it against Freeze Mage.
This is the last I'm going to touch on this. I remember when I was about 12 years old, and I hadn't been playing cards very long. My big brother, at the time, was very good at cards for what people knew back then. I mean, this is like 1998 or something. And he would always play weird cards against me. And every time he played a weird card, I'd kind of read it and go, what is that going to do? And then I wouldn't kill it. And then he ended up winning because of the card. And the lesson he ended up teaching me was, if your opponent plays a weird card and you don't know why, and you don't think that they're bad at the game, you probably need to kill it. They're not just playing it just because. Yeah. They're playing it for a very specific reason. And I've continued to apply that basically my entire life. If my opponent played Halazeal, I'm just killing it. I'm like, that is terrifying. I don't know why that's in there, and I don't want to find out why.
Yeah, it's one thing that you can apply to cards, but don't apply to real life. If he's weird, kill him.
It got dark real quick.
Don't do that. Ooh.
Yeah, nice cleanup to the Doomsayer here. With a Frostbolt. Very Dragon. Honestly, it's pretty darn good versus Freeze Mage as well.
Yeah.
And can he even kill this? Double Slam.
Double Slam. Or, double Slam. I was going to say, maybe Slam Execute to push the damage, but...
Well, now there's at least no, there's no Dragon in hand, so no, it's not a consideration with the Alex Strauss as champion.
Yeah, well, that's a handful of Dragon cards with no Dragon to activate them. That's slightly awkward.
Someone call Brian Kibler right away. Get a Dragon in here.
Yeah. I've actually, if you prod Brian Kibler about the how many dragons does it take to screw in a lot? No, to like make it so you have consistent activation for your cards, and he'll go off on the topic quite a bit. And actually, this deck doesn't quite meet the standard, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's suffering a bit from it now. Fairy Dragon finally gets swept up here.
Is it? I suppose it's worth it.
What to do?
Yeah, it seems like a fine Blizzard to me. I mean, just saying it's not going to be the kind of guy who's going to make plays quickly when he's got tough decisions. He's going to wait, find the right time, and go for it there. So Forgotten Torch and Ping, he decides is a little bit better here. And maybe this signals to Terrence he doesn't have something like Blizzard, so he extends far into the board. Still no Dragon picked up. Also, the consideration for getting the Roaring Torch in your deck so you can draw it quicker, definitely a real thing here. And now we're going to find out how Terrence wants to play this matchup. Thinks that the extra health is going to benefit him a lot more. Has plenty of time to fit in the Fire Roar X-Wings.
Okay. Arcane Intellect. So going to buy himself some time. This Ragnik's turn is going to be incredibly scary. And how You think that's playing into Just Saying's head at all? Because Terrence M kept the rag. And it's just been dead in his hand the whole time. When you keep a card that sits dead in the left portion of your hand, what could it be?
Could have been Fiery War Axis game.
I suppose it could have. That's true.
I mean, maybe that's something he's considering as well.
Didn't he play a Fireworks already? Maybe I'm thinking to another game. I thought he killed like a loot. I feel like I remember him killing a loot hoarder with something. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, Rag is going to plop down this board and Just Saying nods his head as if he knew.
Well, he just knows it's such a terrible card to see for him right now.
Nod his head. Yep, that's a card. Mm-hmm. Rag's in the game.
Really tough. I mean, he may have to expend some serious burn here for this Ragnaros. That is, I mean, I remember back in the day when Reels was playing Freeze Mage a lot. He was kind of like the pioneer of the Freeze Mage build.
Yeah.
Had a polymorph in the build strictly to deal with Ragnaros. Mm-hmm. Now, with the extra amount of burn that Freeze Mages have gotten, they've kind of foregone that polymorph. But you're kind of seeing why it's such a big deal here. It forces so much action. I mean, you cannot stop Ragnaros from attacking. You don't go wide on board so that the Ragnaros has a lot of poor hits on his shot there. It's going to face almost every single time, and this has to be stopped. If he doesn't stop this, he will lose the game.
Yeah. And there's not really great ways to deal with it. He can Frostbolt, Ice Lance, ping it down. He'd still have enough mana to Frost Nova.
He's going to go with, looks like Ice Lance and either Fireball or Frostbolt ping on this one. And wants the extra damage left in hand, so can't blame him for this one. That card has to be dealt with. It's just one of those cards. Dragon would be a really nice pickup here for Terrence. Oh, wow.
Finally picks it up.
No way to actually push through for lethal this turn, but this is a lot of damage. This would set up the pop on the ice block for next turn with that Fiery War Axe or with the Grom.
Mm-hmm. He's going to make sure he fits in these armor ups. It looks like he's going to start going for it.
And he could also save the Alex Straws Champions from hand to kind of surprise Just Saying. Like maybe he goes for another freeze effects here and just feels like he's fine. You know, they won't get swept up in a Flame Strike potentially that way. I mean, this board is already kind of drawing the attention to Flame Strike with just the 5/4 and the Fiery War Axe out. So, you know, maybe he can pull a Flame Strike here just by passing. And I think it's exactly what he's concluded here.
He even holds on to the Azure Drake because he knows that he's not guaranteed to draw into a dragon, and he does want to make sure that he has an activator for those, and he doesn't want to get thrown into Flame Strike as well. So
yeah, this plan worked out a lot better for Terrence, and now he even picks up Blood to Ichor to activate the Grom afterwards.
Yeah, even if it needs activation, I mean, this turn he's got a pretty decent line with just popping him at 2. With damage from hand as well, it's going to be almost impossible for Just Saying to find a way back.
Yeah, Barber up to bring him to 32 as well. This is looking really bad for Just Saying.
I don't know if there's a way for him to win. Flame Strike, second ice block, but how does he kill a Grom?
Well, can actually extend himself here a little bit further. So not dead just yet. Even gonna be Blood to Ichor just to get an extra 2/2 on board, try to force even more action. I mean, that 2/2 actually does occupy 2 more mana from Just Saying, or threaten to lethal here. So Blizzard Roaring Torch can answer this, and then if there's no damage from Terrence, Just Saying could potentially Alex Straza himself and stay in this.
He can, but I mean, there's still a lot of reasonably sized threats in this deck. I mean, even if it just plays just mid-range stuff, just Azure Drakes, Twilight Guardians, Corcoran Elites, those types of things, eventually he will whittle him down. He can play Alex Straza, but then how does he find a way to win? There's already 7 damage staring at him on board, even if he Alex Strazas himself back up. Is there merit to maybe trying to burn him out of the game?
So now Frost Nova Ice Barrier and ping sets up Alexstrasza for next turn, where you can threaten the connect for 8, and maybe have Pyro. This is really tough.
I mean, I think if you Alexstrasza, you're going to Alexstrasza this turn to try and set up. Well, no, because then it's susceptible to execute because you're leaving his minions up. I don't know. Like, what gives you the best outs to win? And I think Alexstrasza in your own face is going to be the best way to do it, but I just don't feel like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, that Finley's pretty dead right now. I imagine Terrence is going to want to keep armoring up here.
Well, no immediate damage. No Quirk on Elites yet. No second Fire War Axe. Nothing along those lines, but it's still going to be tough for Just Saying. Does he even have enough damage left? Now that Alexstrasza's gone, he's got to get to this 34 health it will be after this turn, with just the damage that he has, while also making sure he doesn't die from all his damage on the board. I think it's just impossible.
Flame Strike is gone, I believe, as well. Well, this will get some damage in, it looks like. But again, sitting at 11, can't feel like terribly comfortable about this.
No, not at all.
I mean, how is Terrence feeling though? I mean, are you thinking to yourself, maybe there is a way I can lose?
But count his damage, like even with Pyroblast, Roaring Torch, it just doesn't have enough. Like it feels impossible. I mean, he can like trade in, throw down a Blood Mage, but Just Saying realizes that the writing's on the wall. He's gonna go ahead and concede. Terrence ties it up at 1-1, taking on the Freeze Mage and getting that crucial rag on turn 8, and just applying the pressure, forcing Just Saying into some awkward positions. Is going to be the difference there, and he's going to take that win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a situation where, like, maybe he could ignore the Ragnaros, but there was like no way for that to happen. That was just such a big closer card versus Freeze Mage. Like, if that's a deck you've been struggling against, look towards Ragnaros to be like the big punch you pack against Freeze Mage. Like, they don't have a way to stop it without expending too much, and that opens you up to continue to hit them in the face afterwards with all the rest of your minions and be safe from the amount of burst damage they had. It's just such a powerful threat versus that.